In today's political climate, the loudest voices on the far left have become some of the most vicious and hateful forces in American politics. Instead of debating ideas, they attack people personally, even wishing death on those who disagree with them. This interview exposes exactly how the toxic culture has become and how their cruelty has pushed a sitting Democratic senator to the edge. This is what happens when the radical left decides that disagreement makes you an enemy.
Senator, let's talk about your memoir. It's incredibly, as I said, it's incredibly raw. You talk in great detail about your struggle with the disease that is depression, and I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. But I do want to ask about the way that you approach the Senate, and you write about that in your book. You said, quote, "I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left." That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No. It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms, really what's kind of the harshest, what's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, oh, blue sky, it's blue sky. And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names, some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one. They claimed, "Oh, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life?" Just really like. I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die, literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online. And
let's
people,
talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do want to talk about your story. And you go back to, you mentioned your stroke. You did survive a near-death stroke during your 22 campaign. You ended up still flipping that seat. Obviously, you're there. Instead of being happy about that, about surviving the stroke, about winning your election, you ended up in the deepest depths of emotional darkness. And here's what you wrote about that period. Quote, "I went through the unimaginable pain that comes from a disease of the mind, irrationally masquerading as rationality, the brittle bones and visible scars of a wasted life, suicidal, paranoid, not eating, not sleeping, not speaking, not functioning, resigned, ashamed, despairing." And you even wrote that you drove to a bridge and thought about ending your life.
Yeah, that's true. I would go days not eating or drinking, and I was really lost. And that's the way I described it. It's where it starts to feel there's like it's rational, and there's some kind of a logic to that. To start to believe that it's better if you take themselves out. And when you, to the point where you start to, you're sizing up a bridge. Quite literally, you're sizing up a bridge. And I even made the commitment, like, well, my family won't find me in the house. I can't do that. So just find a way to do this somewhere else. And there are two very high bridges close where I live, and I actually evaluated both in terms for that. That's the danger, and that's the tragic truth of depression. And if it takes a hold of you, you start to have these kinds of awful conversations. And that's why I really wanted to do this book, to just talk about it, saying I know millions of Americans suffer from depression, and now there's also an epidemic of suicide in our nation.
I wanted to make this video because as he is dealing with depression. He's also having to deal with trying to do the right thing for the people who elected him in power. And when a lot of the time he tries to do that, especially now with the government shutdown, he has been ridiculed. His life has been threatened. On top of already having a stroke and depression, now he's in the hospital having heart issues. And just by how he's been treated lately, at least over the past 40 days when the whole shutdown has been going on, I'm sure that the hate and rhetoric went up tenfold, especially after the government got voted to reopen. And with that, I just want to leave it on a note saying that if anyone out there, just because you are feeling bad, it doesn't mean you are doing bad. And there's always light at the end of the road. I thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Reach out to someone out there who you love. Make sure they're doing all right. And let's try and stop the hateful spreading of wishing people to die or sending threats to people. Leave your thoughts down in the comments section. I'll see you guys in another video. I'm your host, Langston with Street News Network. I'll see you next time.